I'm seeking to change my FGC screen name from Vidal's Cheeks to Kefla's Titties, but I can't do this fully as it's invalid due to inappropriate language or words. And so I chose to be a tad creative with it, and so far I haven't been screened yet. I went ahead and changed this from titties to today's, putting a little swag in it for the today's. And so far I haven't been screened yet. I'll hold on to it for now and see how long it lasts. Otherwise I'll just keep up the theme and just change it to Kefla's Cheeks. Meanwhile, aside from the whole screenage of my name change on the FGC community board, I'm going to go on ahead and just think about my viewpoint in trying to play fighters and how it's going to be evolving and changing come the arrival of Season 3, here now at the end and closing point of Season 2, in order to try and give myself a bit of a personal highlight in what it is I want to try and take going forward. A lot of players' focus points have shifted with the presence of other video games up and coming right now, and them being here, so in addition to grinding rank and trying to clean up my own ranking placements, I need to play with a new purpose in mind for the new season when it arrives and updates things, or updates the whole board. This way, this can allow me a better sense of purpose to fight onward that will help me step up my game. I'm ignoring most given criticism or condescension, as there's always hidden trafficking and self-reflection that lie in terms of what onlookers or critics feel should or has to be better when it's not their battle to fight. I've been aware from the beginning that every battle here is hard to fight consistently, as practice and conditioning play a role in continued efforts, knowledge of stagger and pressure, and general team synergy that allows anything that the team is going to do to be effective. There are some victories I can be happy about, and these are small blessings to the journey as a whole. But most, if not the majority of matches I've fought so far throughout Twitch and the general fighting game community's competitive prospect have resulted in losses due to either being outplayed, predicted, pre-predicted, dealing with laggy or really shitty games, or just owning up to selective impatience or result pending excess exposure or mismanagement of health and blue life restoration properties. All factors pointing to less than average performance on my part, and a sudden yet noticeable lack of direction to tighten the focus of an endgame where I'm steadily improving that performance, or there's a lack thereof. My question I need to ask myself is, what do I want from the adventure here next, going into Chapter 2 for me? Because I started at the beginning of Season 2. I came in at the end of Season 1, and I started to really commit when Season 2 dropped. The previous chapter in this game's venture led me on a lengthy journey to simply just learn the basics of the Dragon Ball FighterZ video game, enjoying the growing community with friends, people that I already knew going into this thing, which was mainly just Subtitley Snow, and then from him, meeting other people here online in different social groups and different interactions and dealings, and to find what I love about the gameplay that keeps bringing me back, and that can be a part of why I want to keep coming back as hard as it is, and as hard as it's going to keep increasingly be and become. I know what I can reflect on, and that's the matches I had in seeking growth from great competition, as well as what I take away from wins and losses equally against equal or more experienced players than myself, which is the majority, basically. Critics will lurk as always, especially for this video game, and I pay them very little mind. What matters is how I grow in the right sense and not letting others dictate how I have to play, rather what I can improve on and grow on while lessening bad habits or erasing them altogether from muscle memory through taking a lot of my timely breaks after excess exposure to just this one video game. But if you're on here for too long in live matches, it's very easy to lose your footing and get distracted or get frustrated from simple shit or uniquely dramatic matches that may be more dramatic than need be, especially if a meta is looming overhead like an anvil. I have a good amount to be thankful for here, I feel. I was able to not only reach Supreme Kai rank, but also breach into demon rankings soon after with the added training and application through perseverance. And in addition there, as a nice topper on the cake right now, I was even able to get back my orange square for the first time in almost a year. A little over a year, if that, since having lost it so long ago back when I was a novice player playing this damn game. From 2019 to 2020, a good year. That's a good growth in both rank, experience, and playtime to allot me the same success I had. That wasn't just a fluke. This is now something that I actually was able to systematically earn and try to grow upon, and I can be really blessed about that. I've been orange level for a few days now, and it's a few days longer than the first time I held it back in 2019. And it's a growing positive reality that I can manage better to boot right now during the community's downtime and during my downtime from having playing excess comp on this video game that's very stressing in its own way. I still have a ways to go to be a bit more well-rounded, but where I'm at right now is much better than where it was 1 year ago out here. And I'm happy for these blessings and the understanding that came with them to have them. I feel there is more that I can learn, and that I am going to continually keep learning and gradually keep learning to keep stepping my game up so that way I can keep improving. I will say though, on the back note, that I feel there's one thing I want to get off my chest that serves as a guiding tool for me heading into the next chapter of my time here in the community. Not really a regret, but more of a wish that I stayed working on, that did not come true, that converted into something else I feel can be built upon. This was the third match that I had sought with Psyken. I know this was set in stone, that it would never be meant to be once Grand Blue was released, and this was only going to go one way. Same can be said for a lot of other fighters that did leave the grid for a time being, if they do choose to return and all that shit. I don't know, gotta wait and see how time rewards and how it tells the tale. For Zero May Cry, Soren, Just Relax Kid, I thank you for you guys' efforts to greatly help me feel better about the missed opportunity to face down an already near godlike player in his own right for Android 21, and a good friend to boot. It was an opportunity that was really missed out on. Much love to you guys. I couldn't help but be saddened about that for a long time, and about that chance going away, because I spent a great deal of time, a lot of time, training my ass off for that one match, for that last closing match that would likely roll up on us before we realize it. As futile as it may be or seem for a person like me that doesn't play fighting-based games like this to stand a chance against him, many of his following believed that I could eventually get a point on the board against him, even if I can't ultimately outright defeat him. And I believed the same end result as well, because I stayed practicing and stayed being on the game almost non-stop at one point in order to have that end result come my way at some point or another. The objective was not to defeat Psyken. That's left to destiny whether or not I would or could ultimately defeat him on his stage at that time. But rather the objective was to make as big of an impact as possible, to lay down in real time everything I learned and did learn from fighting him up to that point. Why? Because I'm listening to what he's saying that's helping me personally. His moderator told me that the guy is basically analyzing me as I'm fighting him, the second time anyway that I fought him, because of how the battle's pace is that plays out around how we both think and how we both play or react. Psyken even gave me advice personally about how I can not only try to be better at my team synergy with the correct character choices, be they what I chose to fight with, or didn't invest enough time into, but even how to beat him based on what I like to do or don't do enough, or what I'm not observing in how he's playing or how he's coming at me. Some of this I feel being a part of the basics in the culture of the fighting game genre, or at least this specific part of it as the whole. In a way, in that view, I got what I wanted in gaining some knowledge at the cost of not getting what I sought as the actual endgame that kept me committed to continued application of Dragon Ball FighterZ initially. A part of me was really sad that I didn't get the third game to complete the trifecta of fighting Android 21, a professional Android 21 player. But I respect his decision and what he did to leave this game's lifestyle behind and go into Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. He's happy where he's at, and now I need to do the same and attempt to be happy or satisfied or content with where I'm at and where I'm going and trying to go next in the Dragon Ball FighterZ community experience. I feel that before I go forward, it is necessary to try and reflect on a lot of things that have come to pass now, this being one of them. And so I want to definitely give credit where it's due for Psyken and Zero May Cry 81 and the Anti-Venom. While I'm not a streamer at all for this platform, I'm merely a competitive content creator working within my limitations for the video game. It's because of you guys that I'm able to get my opportunities to grow against other hard-working competitors that fight all out and don't undermine me because of my rank or my character preferences or the way that I think or the way that I choose to act and make my choices and decisions on the game. And it's because of you guys that small parts of the community vaguely know who I am as a base Goku player, or the players and gamers that I'm usually associated with in the community. It's not much, but it's more than enough, and I can't thank you enough for what you guys have done in order to try to help me along. I know you guys don't personally promote me, but it's because of me being featured and allowing me to try and get myself out there on your guys' streams and Twitch that I have something to work with out there on Twitch without trying to start over being a Twitch streamer or going through the whole financial system that goes into trying to do Twitch full-time like how I do YouTube full-time, and it would just be a continual, very shitty juggle. For what I want to do, I'll steadily be training in the shadows as I'm free to do so until the new season, so I have better defensive options and better ideas of getting my opponent open as they slowly come to me. My open one-on-ones on the game will start up again after I get used to the new assists and the new platform that everything's going to be on, and easily after I take Kefla out for a spin and see how she fares with me and my base Goku shells. Heck, even after the whole assist add-in mid-game, it might give me a bit more fuel for the fire to finally get my rejumps going on a main board team outline. Later on, as the time does go, I'll also stay taking matches here regardless of whether I win or lose a lot of them, because it took a viewer's input or an onlooker in the fighting game community to tell me and show me the bigger picture of what I'm doing with these matches out here in DBFZ's Twitch platform that I wasn't aware of until they actually took the time to tell me something just from casually looking at my stuff when I went to promote my content here in the community. So while a few of them were in my favor, a lot of those matches that I had out here serve a bigger purpose in getting fellow competitors' names out there in the fighting game community media and social platforms, so players are aware of who some of these players or people are or who they can potentially be. One thing YouTube has that Twitch doesn't have is YouTube partners and promotion options to help other people grow that play the same games as you. From what I've gathered through Twitch, gamers literally got to do the legwork just to support themselves, much less help out their fellow gamers in the same community grow their content and their viewership. Every now and again, now as it goes on, there's some that probably can help it along, but it may vary. Twitch has a partnership outline, but it's designed to benefit you and the Twitch shareholders financially. They couldn't give a shit less about helping to get lesser names or nobodies out there unless you're already someone special or already have a large following as a base, or you just happen to have Amazon or a Twitch Prime. Those that don't, you're basically eaten alive by media. You're easily criticized, easily budding a loss of interest or general commitment to streaming or YouTube or content creating that allows you to share you to the world. Those that want to meet you or see what's special about you that sets you apart from the herd. Like for the small tuber or streamer, it's a constant struggle to be relevant or noticed, because the gamer mentality here for this community is more selfish than selfless. Those that have been struggling just to be known, it gives them a chance to blow up briefly by having some type of a central focus on them from being featured in another content creator's works. The weird thing about Twitch is that almost anyone can be a gaming streamer these days. This community, example, Apex Legends, another example, Battle Royale games, another example, just like that, or FPS games are a prime example of that. But it takes a committed gamer and a committed individual to be an actual prosperous content creator and make a lane for themselves that creates a path for viewership to follow. And what I've been doing by casually featuring Twitch streamers in my one-on-one segments out here on Fighters, for those that do actually have Twitch content, it's been helping those guys out to bring them up further into the light of the game's fighting game community regimen. As the game grows, I'm certain more streamers or upcoming YouTube creators to this game, content creators, however, will arise or will casually come and go. So I'll need to stay practicing so I can give them a gradual increasing run for their money as I also step my game up. And so for those that want me to keep publishing my one-on-ones out here in the fighting game community, I thank you. I do thank you for taking the time to care about my work. That does mean something to me. It's fine if you guys haven't subscribed or you don't care to, don't want to, or pitch out any other ideas, but it's the fact that you guys took the time, some of you took the time to tell me that my work is making a difference for those guys or for your friends. That means a lot to me. That really does mean a lot to me. That you get the effect of my work's results, as it works both ways. In addition, I feel that my playing schedule will not be edited just yet. I like it just how it is. While I gave up Xenoverse to shift a stronger focus here, and that's paid off greatly, I'm not ready to shift back to Xenoverse or Rainbow Six Siege just yet. There's still some combos and neutral play scenarios, and likely scenarios of neutral play I need to work out and assess and lab and calculate to better assess to help catch myself up for probable neutral play that's been happening that I haven't been able to actually catch because I didn't take the time to sit and lab, okay, what to do once round starts, or once they get ready to wake up and possibly press buttons or shift the character out or some crap. I want to be very happy about the few things I've accomplished out here, juggling this with Destiny, vaguely Rainbow, and then life crap that persists to try my patience more than people. But I feel like I have to keep being critical on myself, like I can't ever be comfortable on this game. It's not a stressing game, not as much anymore, thankfully. But I can't relax either, because a player has to always be working on something out here. You have to always be working on something. You can't afford to slack off that much, if at all, on Dragon Ball FighterZ, otherwise you lose the progress you create. I feel I can do better on this game if I'm not stressed out being on the game for long periods of time, or fatigued for long periods of time. So I think the best way to stow progress is to occasionally spend time labbing when I'm not trying to competitively fight people or play games or play people on my same ranking tier and end up probably getting smoked if I'm not ready, or naturally distracted if I'm constantly suffering inattention that costs me games that I should be winning. But those other times where I'm not playing these games, I need to spend time labbing, as boring as that is sometimes, and it gets seriously boring to stay doing the same repetitive crap over and over and over and over again. But I won't lie that it is weirdly beneficial to keep doing these things, because it actually becomes written in the muscle memory before long, and it helps me in the long run rather than hurts me. So I can't complain. It serves as more of a positive than a negative, It's just you never want to sit there and continue doing that for so long, because it takes me back to my labbing days back on Transformers or Destiny, or what I started doing more in Xenoverse last year, where it just gets boring doing the same crap over and over again until you get it, but you gotta stay at it. Staying on top of content, I think I'm only going to stay on top of the content that relates to the characters that I play, and just them. Anything else is just, I'm going to probably just occasionally glance at if it correlates to a match upcoming or people of interest or players of interest. So that way it becomes a lot easier and less stressful to try and juggle tech I'm likely not going to use or ever really apply. After that, I need to stay watching select YouTubers or content makers in this community that I feel are very beneficial to me and my cause, which I have a few pegged already that I'm following. I'm going to stay following them since they stay helping and they broaden the perspective on how to do things that can apply universally, or how to apply universal knowledge, which is highly invaluable, I feel. And so I'll stay to that. Overall, in the self-analysis, I feel I have all the points I need to try and keep myself going. In terms of a new inspiring piece or inspirational individual I want to try to, I guess, face, I'll see where Season 3 goes for now. So for now, I don't really have anybody that I want to try to fight that I can work towards as an endgame. When Season 3 comes out and I feel comfortable with what I know or will develop with the teams that I'm going to be working on, then I'll go from there and then hopefully try and see if I can get my matches or get a match with some of the people that I seek and try to aspire towards greatness in this community. Which for me, aspiring towards greatness is just trying to establish myself further as a yellow orange square, hopefully still being an orange square, I would imagine, since I was able to finally prove to myself that I could get my orange square back at a time very pivotal when I wanted to get my rank up, and I was able to not only get it back, but sustain it gradually against numerous contestants. And so I feel like I proved myself worthy in some sense of being an orange square wholeheartedly, as this was not a fluke. But there is still work in order to make sure that I can sustain that level of play as I am now. That'll do it in my self-synopsis and analysis. Y'all take care and stay tuned. Thanks for enjoying my content so far, and we'll see where Season 3 takes us. Peace till all are one.